For January 29th, 2024. I wanted to start off by explaining what's been happening with the proposed ordinance and the enforcement of discharging a gun, a firearm, in the city of York. I had learned a few months ago that discharging of a firearm was not being prosecuted in the city of York. So people could run around potentially and be shooting, well, not potentially, they were shooting guns in the air, shooting guns by my house, shooting guns into the creek, practicing with their guns, maybe just trying them out to see if they worked, celebrating something, any of these things. And I think everybody will agree that hearing a gunshot in the city of York is traumatizing for a lot of us. We don't know what's going on when we start hearing gunshots. People may have had somebody die from a gunshot in their family. They might have been shot themselves. They may be veterans that this affects. And so when I learned that this was not being prosecuted, I looked at other cities. My team looked at other cities, and we found that it was being prosecuted in other cities. So we put together some legislation, proposed it to council. Council had some questions and did not bring it up for a vote. But what happened was this spurred conversation at a higher level. And what came of this essentially is that the district attorney's office has agreed that firing off firearms in the city of York is disorderly conduct. You can't just, when people are this close together, you cannot just be shooting off guns. You don't know where it's going to land, who it might hit, what effect it has. And again, even the mental health effect of firing a firearm, hearing a shot, that is an effect on the people of the city of York that we do not want. And again, the district attorney has agreed. And so this will actually be prosecuted now as disorderly conduct, a summary offense, or potentially even a misdemeanor, which is a criminal penalty. So what the city was proposing was a civil penalty where you would get a fine up to $1,000. But now we are looking at, and now we are looking at a direct criminal act. So I want everybody to know out there that if you see somebody that you know, or if you were potentially doing this yourselves, you're not allowed to fire guns in the city of York, except for in cases of self-defense. That's basically it. Otherwise, go to a firing range. We don't have one here in the city, but there are some very close by. That is the appropriate place to be practicing with any kind of weapon, or practicing target shooting, anything like that. So I want to thank the council for reviewing our proposed legislation, but I do believe at this point we are looking to pull that legislation because the intended effect has already been accomplished, and actually even much more. So again, please be aware that the discharging of firearms in the city of York, there are a couple other caveats: shooting blanks for memorial services, starting gun that has no projectile, that kind of stuff. That still makes sense. But anybody randomly without an accepted purpose cannot be just firing off their guns to practice or to see how they work or anything like that. So I wanted to be very clear about that. I wanted to explain it. I think there was some good explanation in the newspaper. So that's where we ended up with that. So it's not always about, in legislation, in government, it's not always about getting the legislation passed. Sometimes it's about starting a conversation and getting the goal accomplished. And we were able to do that, so I want to thank everybody involved, the group violence intervention team, the governance board, we talked about this a lot, the district attorney's office, anyone that has been consulted by our team or the district attorney's office, and of course council for working with us and helping us produce something better. with that, let's talk about money. Lots of money, lots of grants available. I'm going to keep talking about this stuff until the money is gone. Tourism grant, this one isn't coming from the city. It's coming from the Visitors Bureau. But the tourism grant, if you have something that you believe is going to draw people into the city or into the county, an event, beautification, anything that you think would draw tourists into the city. So this is money that comes from a tax on hotel rooms. So if your event is going to fill hotel rooms, you have a shot of getting some funding for your event. So please go to this link and check it out. We have nonprofit recovery grants. I think we still have over $200,000 available. So if you're nonprofit, I read a whole list of them that received them last week. If your nonprofit suffered losses in 2020, 2021, if you suffered losses from your previous revenues, you are potentially eligible for up to $45,000. First Friday grants are coming out from Downtown Inc., and this is to help businesses with their expenses related to music, entertainment, creative activities, community collaboration, anything that is making First Fridays better. Of course, this coming Friday is First Friday, so come on down and see what's happening. And we have scholarships, or I should say, the York County Hispanic Coalition continues to have scholarships for Hispanic, Latino high school students, and the application period is through March 22nd. The city has funds for entrepreneurship and for small businesses, up to $5,000 for small business startups, and up to $5,000 for businesses owned by minorities, women, or people with disabilities. Few interesting activities going on. First, there's figure drawing at the Grotto. That is fun. I actually participated in that one time. Today actually is going on tonight, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Grotto. That's the second floor above the Prince Street Cafe, right in the square at 2 West Market Street. And that is a $10 suggested donation to help with the expenses of that. Our Bureau of Health is supporting sexual wellness awareness with a sexual wellness clinic, free STD testing. That's at 435 West Philadelphia Street. Also providing free condoms. So free condoms, free STD testing. Please, let's be safe out there and let the Bureau of Health help you be safe. That is Thursday, 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Keystone Merge, I believe, is a new program that is starting up. This is also at the Grotto, second floor above the Prince Street Cafe. And Thursday from 5 to 6:30, they're doing something called Keystone Merge. And they're having entrepreneurs come and talk about their businesses. And it's a way to help new small businesses, maybe experienced small businesses, talk about and learn about problems that are being overcome. What are the solutions? So this is a very interesting event for business folks. And again, that's Thursday, 5 to 6:30 at 2 West Market Street. On Friday, it's Groundhog Day again. And I believe the Elks Lodge, and I got to up my membership, sorry. I am an Order of the Groundhog member, or have been, over at the Elks Lodge. I think it's the second oldest Groundhog Lodge in the country. I think that's right. It's been going on since like the 1920s or right around that time. So they celebrate every sunrise on February 2nd, and it's a fun tradition here in the city. And if you're an early riser and want to join us at the Elks Lodge, that'll be at 7:15 in the morning at 223 North George Street. Pre-festivities begin at 6:30 a.m. I think I'm allowed to say the bar is open for mimosas or anything like that you want to celebrate Groundhog Day. Then later that day, that evening, First Friday, all around downtown, there's a lot of stuff going on. Please visit the website to learn more about the activities. One specific activity, York Community Art Scholars exhibition, is going to be at Creative York here at 10 North Beaver Street, and this will be art from our local high school students, so you can come out and see the creativity that is blossoming here in the city and around the county. February is African American Heritage Month, and Martin Library is kicking it off on Friday evening with a Black Heritage Stamps exhibit. So this is very cool to me. When I was, I think, 5 years old, I found my dad's stamp collection. So I got really into collecting stamps very young. And I learned so much because each stamp tells a story. And our African American inventors or creatives or political leaders, they have been celebrated on American stamps and on stamps of foreign countries. So it's kind of cool. I know it's nerdy, but it's fun for a little kid. I think it was for me to learn all these things and to be able to collect these little pictures and put it all together. So I have fond memories, obviously, of that. And so Martin Library is celebrating, and this is something I never got to do, design your own stamp. So if you see right up behind me, this is the first stamp that came from York. And that was in 1977, celebrating the drafting of the Articles of Confederation. I could go on and on about that, but it's one of the most important documents in American history, and the draft of it was completed right here in York on November 15th of 1777. So we celebrate that, and that's the first stamp that came. That's why it hangs over my head. So now you know why I have this big picture of a stamp over my head when I'm doing the message, because I met the guy when I was 6 years old. I met the guys that were designing, or that had designed that stamp, and that's what got me really, really involved into the York Philatelic Society. So that's what you call stamp collecting, philately. If you needed a vocabulary word for the day, philately. So, Black Heritage Stamps exhibit, Friday, 5 to 7 at Martin Library, 159 East Market Street. The Appel Center, also for First Friday, is having a free family film, The Road to El Dorado, and that starts at 6:30. That's at the Appel Center, 50 North George Street. Saturday morning, there is live music, the Celtic Trio. I know, folks, we're coming out of January into February, and people start thinking about St. Patrick's Day, and Celtic music is at the top of that list. So the Celtic Trio will be at Central Market, 10 to noon. I think everybody knows where Central Market is, but 34 West Philadelphia Street, Saturday, 10 to noon, the Celtic Trio. I want to thank the movement for providing this information and providing the next service to our community. They're providing free meals with their partners at Bethel Commandment Church at 1000 South Queen Street. Free meals every Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. So that's down South Queen Street, 1000 South Queen Street at Bethel Commandment Church. And thank you, Tanya, thank you, Anu, thank you for all the partners at the movement who are providing this great service. For the last time, because I've announced this probably 30, 40 times, for the last time I'm going to announce the survey of the park system. The survey on Farquhar Park, Kiwanis Lake, Noonan Field, and Bance Park. We want your input on this because we are going to be changing these parks and upgrading the parks, and it hasn't been done in a long time, and it may not be done for another 50 years. So please go to the link below, tell us what you want your park system to look like so that we can bring your vision to fruition. So with that, there's a lot going on, as always, here in the city of York, and the temperatures are relatively moderate this week, and looks like lots of sun. So it's a good week to be out in the middle of winter, and I hope to see you downtown. Hope to see you all around the city. Have a good week.